What's going on, champs and jambits? It's FireMonkey here, and in today's YouTube video, we have to go ahead and talk about the Mastery Monday event right now, what the intended changes are, and how Epic Games kind of messed up the event, right? Because, for example, right now we're playing, and it doesn't appear like they actually ended up making some of the changes, such as being able to, find the rare sprites and everything, go live in the game. Or if they did, it only went live very early on in the day, and now it is already bugged to the point where Epic Games on their official Fortnite support Twitter account have stated that they're looking into the issues and plan on fixing it a little bit later. So firstly, what would all the changes be? Well, it appears like the changes goes as follows. Firstly, Water Sprite, Earth Sprite, and Fire Sprite have been decreased by a 26.5% spawn chance. The Duck Sprite, Ghost Sprite, Demon Sprite, King Sprite have all been increased by a 46% spawn chance, and then when it comes to the Dream Sprite, which is the Sleepy Sprite, and the Punk Sprite, those have been increased by 71% spawn chance. However, the 0 Point Sprite got a 99% decrease in spawn chance. Now, some of these feel a little bit off. It's a little interesting to see how like the 0 Point Sprite is getting decreased by 99%. I think they might have messed that up because originally they said that they intended to make it a little bit higher. So maybe that was just like a hotfix error that they're going to be fixing later down the line. I'm not entirely for sure. But then some of the other changes is things like the Sprite XP being increased. Eliminations have increased XP gain from 150 to 400, assists from 75 to 150, extracting a Sprite from 100 to 200, opening a container from 75 to 150, downing a player from 100 to 150 XP, and then extracting a duplicate Sprite in the same extraction as another one or in the same match has been increased from 200 to 400. So some interesting sprite changes here and there, and to prove that this hotfix isn't actually live even though Epic Games intended to, we'll go ahead and grab ourselves a sprite right here and go yeet them into the extractor. So let's go on over there. On top of this, though, they do mention that the sprite dust multiplier for extraction has been increased by a 2x multiplier. The gummy multiplier has been increased by a 2.2x multiplier, which gummy sprites aren't even really enabled as of right now, I'm pretty sure. The win multiplier in terms of sprite dust gain has been increased by double, and then the extraction of a hollow foil variant has also been increased by double, making it go from a 2x multiplier to a 4x multiplier for hollow foil variants of stuff. But in terms of like the gummy variant and all that type of stuff, those aren't really enabled in the game normally. But when it comes to the Earth Sprite, this one, as far as I'm aware, should give me around 600 sprite dust. Yeah, actually 500 sprite dust. So if it doesn't give me 1000 from this extractor once the extractor comes down, that is definitive proof that this whole entire hotfix, despite us having all the info, is not currently enabled in the match I'm playing. And also, we've been noticing, kind of a lack, I would say, of the rarer sprites. I've just been noticing, like the fire sprites and all that type of stuff. So let's wait a few seconds here, watch it drop on down, and will it give me 1000? Nope, it only gives 500. And it looks like when it came to the actual extraction there, it just gave the default amount of XP as well. So that's a little bit of a disappointment to see, but it's still interesting to see how they're planning on fixing this as soon as they possibly can. Now, one thing people have been mentioning here is the fact that when it comes to like the XP rates and dust rates and all that stuff not being boosted, and the sprite drop rates not being changed, that it's been a little odd to see all these hotfixes. And the reason that I think it's been a little odd is because I've been trying to look in the files, right? I've been trying to figure out what is going on with the sprites, what is like the spawn chance of all of them, how I can figure out if they're enabled or disabled. It appears some sprites have certain spawn locations, like the 0 Point Sprite usually spawns at the 0 Point if it's a roaming version, meaning that it's just wandering around. So if it's like a guaranteed spawn out of a chest or something, then that doesn't really matter at all. And there's so many different files, there's so many confusing bits and pieces regarding sprites, and some things look like they're not even being used at all. So it's been a very odd thing trying to understand how Epic Games implemented sprites into the game, and to figure out which parts of these sprite files and stuff are even needed to be changed and which ones don't matter if Epic Games changes it or not. So I feel like that confusion that even leakers are having might be going on internally at Epic Games, where Epic Games employees aren't even really that sure themselves how to make certain sprite modifiers get enabled. Now, I do think there could still be a chance that maybe in the hotfix somewhere, maybe they have like two multipliers clashing with each other, one that's actually over here, telling it that it has a certain spawn chance, while another one is telling it that it has a different spawn chance, and those two clashes are causing it to be a situation where the higher one or the default one or whatever else ends up taking getting priority, while the like event one maybe just isn't being called to at all because they've already gotten, you know, some sort of data from Epic Games. But it is just something that we've been noticing, and it is an oddity that's been going on that will be fixed soon. So if you've been playing this trying to get all the rare sprites, you know, getting golden variants or whatever else, just know that at least as of right now, it appears that you should still be able to get golden variants, but they're not actually being increased by anything. Now, I do want to ask you guys in the comments down below, what do you actually think about the sprite system in Fortnite? What do you think about how they're going to be slowly, like, dropping new sprite variants, like the gummy sprites, gem sprites, cube sprites, all the type of stuff as time goes on? Is this something you're excited to go ahead and try collecting the most of, or are you kind of disappointed that you're like, some might be rarer than others, so you might not be able to end up getting all of, like, the variants of the Guardian because of how busy life can be sometimes, you know, with work, school, whatever else? Personally, you know, I have a lot of free time, so it's kind of cool to be able to have something else to grab while I'm playing Fortnite, but I do understand how some people might not want to go through the extra grind of playing matches over and over and over and over again to hope that they get the specific sprite they want, and then to hope that the sprite that they get is an actual variant version instead of like a base version or something like that. Until next time, however, I hope Jams and Jammies enjoyed today's YouTube video. Make sure to keep up to date with Fortnite, you know, play a few matches probably a few hours from now after the video goes live to figure out if these sprite changes have actually gone into effect or not, because in some cases, maybe it has, in other cases, maybe it hasn't. But I thought I would just make a video because I know yesterday we talked about the mastery changes and everything, and then nothing really ended up happening today at all. I mean, if I open this watch, I'm probably gonna get like a water sprite or something. Okay, hold on, wait, I need to find another chest. That was kind of disappointing. Wait. All right, when I open this, I'm gonna get water. Okay, you know what? I just give up. Hope you Jams enjoyed the video. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, and I'll catch you guys next time with another upload. So until then, peace out.